Okay. Checking audio. This is a different headset than I normally have. And sorry for the dim lights, but it's 2:15 in the morning. And I had not thought about making a video until right just now. But I've got some good news, and I've got some horribly bad news. Let's start with the good news. I today is March 15th. Yeah, March 15th. I had my murder mystery sequel, right? And it was a good time. I had good reception, good execution, good pre-planning. It's like after Halloween, and how much I screwed myself, just unable to prepare properly, to do justice to the vision, and to do proper justice and respect to the work I had already put in. It was that was a bad day. Today was a good day, and everyone had a good time. I got some of the junk out of my room. It went well. It really did. And my only doubt that it did is when I mentioned about having the final chapter for Oktoberfest, another European nation that was yeah, the Germans. My family lineage, my namesake is German. And yeah, when I mentioned that I wanted to do the final bit of the murder mystery, then I got a look from some people. A little bit of delay, a little bit of the look. I'm wondering if people were being overly generous about how much fun they were having tonight. And I'm probably overthinking it, or I could be underthinking it. Anyway, I'll take the win. I will take the W. Much needed, much appreciated. A lot of work. Good time. Now, the bad news. The worst thing that can happen to somebody who's trying to find stability, comfort, and meaning in an emotional and physical recovery process happened. Sterling was hit by a car just at the end of the block. My mom is absolutely beside herself. I've been worried about me. My brain knows that we have to adopt again quickly because there's a void, and if we start filling that void in, it's going to be filled in with concrete, and we are never going to get another animal again. And our hearts and our family is going to be less than for it, less than it should be. Not only less than it is. And we've already looked into some adoption options. I looked at the place where we adopted him, and there was another long-haired gray cat that looked so much like him. And I say this, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are... Nobody watches my videos. Maybe in the future I'll look back at these videos and I will get appalled at this whole period of time. But if we don't adopt again, we are never going to adopt again. And we have to fill the void, because it is the type of void that can end human life. It is the type of heartbreak that can kill you. I had no idea how much of your heart they become, how much of you. I had never had a pet before. Well, growing up I had turtles. You can't empathize with a turtle. You can't sympathize. You can't look into it. Maybe some people can. It's just not something I connected with an empathetic interaction. I can't imagine a turtle could be my heart. Then I grow up, and I'm old now. And then we found Sterling. Sterling found us. I don't know why that's a cliche. He literally, when we picked him to interact with him a little bit at the shelter, the first thing he did was jump on my shoulder and nip at my head. And it's like he was selling himself to us. And when he did that, I teared up. And I said, him, definitely him. And even though I was not emotionally ready for another cat after Mia died, I still wanted to care for him. I still wanted him to have a good life. I wanted to give him an opportunity to grow on me. So he didn't do anything wrong. and it's not his fault about what happened to Mia. I was finding it difficult to imagine a way her death was not my fault. And losing her was an absolute heartbreak. I cried myself to sleep for days. It's just something about there was supposed to be a future. And you start to open your heart and your mind to this future. And within 72 hours, a veterinarian tells you you have to put your signature on a piece of paper that's going to be the end of that future. And that was the hardest thing I ever had to do. To look at my signature on a piece of paper and to know that that was all it took. And my baby girl was gone. It's because my signature was on that paper. I cried myself to sleep and I begged her to forgive me. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in the afterlife. But, I mean, in some after-school special type of way, I was trying to find a way to forgive myself. Her fate was sealed when her mother died and left a half of a litter with parasites that they couldn't get rid of. I still felt so bad. I felt like she could look into my eyes and see that she was wanted and cared for. And then she was gone. I feel like I set her up to be happy, and then I ended her future. It's not how it is. I know I did the right thing. I knew it was right then. It feels so bad. And when Sterling came home with us, I wasn't emotionally ready yet. But he grew on me. Beautiful pictures turned into me holding him when he was so little. We first got him, I would hold him. He was like my little baby. And then he got shaggier, and Shaggy turned into beautiful, beautiful, long-haired kitty cat. Long-haired baby. June would have been his second birthday in human years. Less than 2 years. In that time, he won us over. He didn't win us over. He won the extended family. He won every pet that ever came into this house over. Neighborhood feral cats. They were buds. Other neighbors. Everyone loved him. There was never a moment where he didn't feel absolutely loved. Never a moment. And then one morning we got the call. One of our neighbors thought he saw him at the end of our block. The call went to my brother, actually. From my brother, it came to my mom. From my mom, she told us while my dad was airing up my tires. And she couldn't breathe. My heart sunk. I was numb. The only thing I could think of was hopping into my Jeep and running down the street to see. And at first I wasn't sure. And then I saw his collar. And my whole world I don't know when it happened, how it happened. He became my whole heart. And my mom's heart. Every time I see something that makes me think of him, the only thing that keeps me from breaking down is telling him every time I think about him that I will love him forever. And I will. Some years from now, I may look back at this and cringe, but he was so extraordinary. There will never be another one like him. And I miss him so much. The question is, if Sterling just passed, why would I go ahead with this murder mystery thing 3 days later? I need a distraction. I need to stay busy. I process things in small amounts in a long period of time. And if I had canceled or postponed, it would be worse. Even if it was difficult to get through the evening without him, and it was, I would be smiling without him. And that's what I have to do. There were smiles before him. There were smiles because of him. And he was a pet. He was my sweet, innocent baby guy. There will be smiles after him. In fact, it's a little easier if I tell myself that I am smiling for him. I dedicated this party to him. That's why the execution was very important to me. It was something that I already wanted to do, but something I had not done successfully for quite a while. And was a success, and I dedicate it to my baby guy, my sweet baby boy. When Mia died, I dedicated my walking to her because it was what I was working on when we got her, and she never got a chance to see me walk. I started walking. Jegs was there, Sterling was there, but the walking was for Mia. This gathering tonight, that was for Sterling. I'm gonna miss him so much. And I'll love him forever. He was too wonderful. Too wonderful to live forever. And even he had a future. And now he doesn't. And if there's anything good to come from it, not just the party that's dedicated to him, but when they say drive like your pets live here, slow down. It's not just the end of an animal's life that you're just going to drive away from. It's a misery that never completely goes away. And ours is a family that seen enough of that. I just I'm struggling not to be mad about it. I want to believe that it's just a well-meaning person. There was a crossing of paths that they didn't intend. But I was driving today to get some soda and a little energy drink for myself for tonight. And I pulled out. There was a person who was speeding behind me. And so the question is, do I do my usual thing of don't delay them, be polite, hug the shoulder so they can easily get around, No, I brake checked them and flipped them off. And that is not me. But me is without my baby because of people like that. So when me doesn't feel like being me anymore, in a bad way, that makes me less of the person that Sterling looked up to and loved. I know he loved me. It makes me sad, like I'm losing myself over him in a way that he would not want me to be different and changed by this. But what do you do? After you lose somebody, not something, not some pet, somebody who is that important to you, a negligence of another person, and struggling to make it make sense. And there is no sense to be made from a senseless tragedy. There's no closure. There's no anything. It's just an open-ended. An open-ended get over it. It makes you mad. And the only thing more dangerous than being mad is being mad and feeling like a part of you is already dead. I'm scared of what I might do. I'm scared of generally. I'm scared I'm going to get tired of mentally being one step ahead of trauma and sorrow. And when I'm done being one step ahead all the time, something's going to happen, and I'm scared of myself. I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to hurt anyone else. But give yourself 5 minutes to think about anything, and you can talk yourself out of a lot of hurt. I'm 5 minutes ahead of these feelings. I'm fine right now. Life does not guarantee you those 5 minutes forever. And if I get fatigued and lose a few steps, and something happens, I am closer to that line than I am comfortable being. And suddenly you only have 3 minutes to think about it. And then a minute to think about it. Then you got no time to think about it left. No time left in you to wait to think about it. And then even if you make the right decision then, you still are not guaranteed even no time to think about it, negative time to think about it, reacting as on an impulse or reacting irrationally, because you don't have time to rationalize your actions, and something could happen. I am so I'm just getting fatigued with being so mentally healthy. There's nothing anyone can do to change or fix what the future's gonna do. But I just wish I just knew what the future was going to do. So in moments when I have negative time to think about it, there'd be no such thing as no or negative time to think about it. I and there's probably a healthy answer, something that I could do and do it each and every time. Part of me doesn't want that time, and that's the part of me I'm scared of. Part of me just wants to react. A part of me that sees somebody speeding. There's that intrusive thought. It's like, okay, you want to speed? Well, it's like, you're not going to merge on my dime. I'm turning to that grumpy old man, get off my lawn mentality. And normal people want to avoid that mentality. Without Sterling, I fear that I am going to slip into that mentality because of a lack of caring that I don't. A lack of positive reinforcement for not yet. And if there's one thing that is going to negatively reinforce negative, destructive, and toxic behaviors, it's going to be a senseless tragedy. I could also be cringing at this from the future too, looking back and thinking, I was in a dark place, but I got through it. Or, I was in a dark place, but it's going to get much darker before it gets better. I just want a moment back, you know. If I had hugged him for a moment longer, if I had held him for just one moment longer, would those paths not have crossed? Like any day. If I had held him for that moment longer, would he have met with tragedy sooner. The thing is, we can't know and we can't change anything, and there's nothing left but to accept something that is unacceptable. But I have to fight. I have to fight to stay me. I have to fight to stay the person that Sterling loved. Because if I was anyone else, he wouldn't have left me the same way, and our relationship wouldn't have been as close, and we wouldn't have been as happy as we were together. So I want to do right by my baby boy. And that's my only motivation, to not turn into something I'm not. That he would disapprove. So I have to work on not being mad. I have to work on not being bitter and disgusted with humans in general. Cats live upwards of 16 years, give or take. I had a roommate once, his girlfriend had a cat who lived to be 23 human years old. And I know in my heart even, and my brain, that it's not the amount of time you spend alive, it's the amount of life you fit into that time, and that also helps when I think about just how loved he was, how absolutely wonderful he was. And I don't want to turn into somebody that doesn't deserve a wonderful boy like him. And I talk about him like he's human, I know. But that's how I feel about him. He's my baby. He's my baby boy. And I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna love him forever. That's the least he deserves. But I'll see you guys later.